What up, people? The What's the What show. We here for the second week. I got Lee Anthony on the line with us. You're not gonna be able
Yes,
to see him
indeed.
live. You're gonna just see his picture. What's up, Lee?
What's going on, brother?
Hey man, introduce yourself. Let the people know something about yourself.
Oh man, well, first of all, man, I really appreciate you putting this together. It's been something you and I have been discussing for quite some time, and I'm just glad that I had the opportunity with all of the busy schedules that don't coincide with each other. I'm just glad that we can sit down and discuss some of the topic that's going on in the world today. I'm originally from California. You and I both reside in Georgia. We work together. We've worked together. Um, and I just, I have a background of a lot of studies and a lot of different things, but I just consider myself a regular guy out here seeing life go on and the changes. I'm in my 40s now, and things, you know, have given me a lot of insight in retrospect to what we're doing today versus what I was doing 20 years ago. So I'm glad to be here, man. We can get into whatever you want to talk about. I've got a lot of topics. You've got a lot of topics. There's a hot topic, a couple of them, that I know we're going to get on. So, yeah, man, let's get it on. Let's get it on, man.
All right, man. Well, look. First off, I want to say you're being real modest, man, because you ain't just a regular guy, man. You've been through a lot of stuff, and while you don't consider yourself necessarily a master teacher, man, but I'm telling you, you're well on your way to being one. I've learned a lot from
Thank you.
you, and I'm
Thanks, man.
glad you could join me tonight.
I
So
appreciate it.
we know the hottest topic that's going on right now is the Alden Sterling Baton Rouge, Louisiana thing. But we're gonna talk about that a little bit later
Yeah.
because that's so disturbing. I'm not even gonna show a video clip of that because man, that's just ridiculous. We're gonna talk about something a little bit lighter that just happened over the holiday on the 4th. We found out that Kevin Durant decided to make a super team.
KD.
You know what I'm saying? So he decided to make a
Yeah.
super team over at Golden State.
Uh
Um,
huh.
the last time we seen the super team was who was that? It was the Miami Heat, right? Wasn't it the Miami Heat? Wasn't they the super
Yeah.
team before this?
Yeah. I guess most people would consider Miami a real stacked team as far as talent is concerned. You could say that the Cleveland Cavaliers of right now are actually a pretty stacked team because I think their whole starting five were first round picks and everything right there. So yeah, I would say that Miami was our last real formidable, I guess you can say, super team because prior to that, what was the team to beat? Was it the Lakers, Boston, San Antonio? What was a good team in the East outside of Boston? Because they rag on the East. I'm sorry to say, I'm a West Coast guy, but I just like the sport. I don't know, man. It's
Man, I mean, the East been weak for a while, man. I mean,
it has, it has.
it's
I hate to say that though. I really do because those guys are professionals.
no
You
doubt.
know, and I think weak is the wrong type of word to use. The talent is so, you know, the talent now in today's leagues, just not just basketball, just all around, is ridiculous. These guys can ball. You take a guy coming off the bench on a Philadelphia team, he's good, but then you compare him to another team roster, same position from the West, and he probably doesn't even get that start. You know what I mean? So, I hate to say weak because it's kind of like a slight against the professionalism of them, but yeah, those guys,
Okay.
it's totally
I won't,
different. Yeah.
I won't say weak then. I'll say that they're just not at the level of the West Coast teams. How about that? Is that better?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Because I mean, weak is how I know Jalen Rose always talk about. You can't call nobody in the NBA a scrub because that
Right.
NBA player probably tear anybody on the streets up
Right.
for the most part, unless you're talking about them old school N1 players and people
Right.
like
Right.
that that just play basketball all day long.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as that goes, they kind of. they not, the East ain't been to par with the West, except for maybe one or two teams. Like you said, Boston for a minute. Then you had the Heat,
Yep.
and really just besides that, you always got you always either got the Lakers, the Spurs,
Right.
and or now you gonna have to Golden State for a minute.
You're right, man. And it's the way now. Of course, it's a different type of athlete today versus the 80s and the 90s and even the early 2000s. Um, man, it's tough, man. I don't know. A lot of people ragging on KD, Randy, about that move, man. What you think about that, man? Because ESPN and all their sports analysts and all of those statisticians have chimed in and said a lot of things. Most of it was kind of like knocking KD for that move. Is it really a knock on him?
Man, Stephen A. Smith started that foolishness with talking about it's the weakest move he ever seen by a superstar, and then he qualified that by trying to say, well, you can't say that same thing about LeBron. And I feel like you can. LeBron knew when he was going to Miami Heat, might not have made the championship the year before that, but LeBron knew when he was going to Miami Heat that Chris Bosh was coming. He knew that he already had Dwayne Wade. That's three all-stars in Dwayne Wade and LeBron James at that time were two superstars in the league.
Right.
And even though Wade hadn't won necessarily an NBA MVP, he definitely had won a Finals MVP. If you hear some shots outside, man, that's the fight. They still out here doing fireworks out here, man. That's crazy.
Some real patriots out there, ain't they?
Yeah, they still out here doing fireworks. I'm like, what in the world? But yeah, man, I still feel it's the same way, man. If you're gonna call his move weak, you got to call LeBron's move weak in my book. Thing is, again, everybody talking about, well, name somebody that was on Cleveland before he went over there or whatever, before he left. And I'm like, that team still won 60-something games. That team still was the number one seed, and they just couldn't get over the hump because LeBron didn't take them over the hump. So it's still the same thing. KD couldn't get over the hump because he couldn't take his team over the hump, and he decided to go join the juggernaut. And we just don't have the same type of players that we had back in the 80s and 90s. In the 80s and 90s, they wanted to beat up on each other. They didn't want to join each other. They would play with each other for the All-Star game. They get together for the Olympics, but besides that, they wanted to battle each other for the NBA championships. Today, they friends and they want to get together and join super teams. So it's a different time. I don't know if I want to necessarily say that it was a weak move. I will say that it's not a move that us older cats is like, nah, cat, when we was coming up, Isaiah didn't want to be on the team with Jordan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Magic and Bird didn't want to be on teams together.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
And like Isaiah said, as much as they hated Bird, if Bird was like, hey, I'm gonna go to the Pistons, it ain't like the Pistons would have turned them down. But
he was never gonna say that.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna
say that. Exactly.
It was never gonna happen. So
yeah. Right.
We're just in a different time when people like, look, if we can join teams, make it easier, and we can win a bunch of championships, who got something to say about it? You know what I'm saying? So that's just my take, man. I
think you're right.
I don't want to call him weak, man.
Now, it wasn't a weak move. How many years has he been into the league? So he came from, was it Texas? He went to Texas, right? Wasn't
he went to
Kevin
Texas,
Durant a Longhorn?
Yeah, he was a Longhorn, yeah.
So he's a Longhorn. So he went, and he's originally from DC, I think.
Originally from DC. A lot of people mad that he go over to DC.
Right. And that speaks volumes because it's not like they have a terrible squad over there. But
not at all.
I root for Washington because I like John Wall. I like my man from Florida. His name's not coming to me right now. They're shooting guard. I just like what is his name?
Bill.
Yep, my boy Bill. He's solid.
I can't think of his first name right now.
It could be Brandon. I could be wrong.
No, Brad. No,
Brandon
no,
Bill.
it ain't Brandon.
Don't knock me, y'all, out there. You know what I'm saying? But
It ain't
um,
Brandon.
because once again, this has been the last 2 seasons. I've been a highlight guy. I haven't had a chance because I'm so busy with all the
Bradley. It's Bradley. It's Bradley
Bradley
B.
Bill. Bradley Bill. There you go. My schedule, Randy, as you know, I'm just so tied up, so I get everything on the fly. I don't even watch live TV anymore. I watch recorded shows, and when it comes to sports, it's all about the highlights. I hadn't seen a whole lot of baseball game, which is my favorite sport. But all in all, I don't think it was a weak move. Okay, especially in today's era. Um, I just truly feel that he didn't want to play at Oklahoma anymore. I just think that's what it was because I truly, in my heart of hearts, thought he was gonna stay. I thought he was. I thought he was gonna stay. Um, and I thought they were just gonna bring in a couple more pieces to take on another challenge because that's usually what you want to do. Like I'm gonna get them. I can't wait to the next season. We gonna pay their asses back. We gonna drive. We gonna do whatever it takes. That's what I thought was gonna happen. But it doesn't surprise me. Remember, this is a business.
No
Okay,
doubt.
it's not like it's gonna hurt his legacy per se because now he could be a stat chaser on so many different levels.
Yeah.
He could probably prolong his career because now he's not having to tote the weight. Like it was just him and Westbrook, and then whoever shows up as the third and fourth guy. Who's going to be the X factor. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Really at this point in time, I don't get paid to watch these guys, but at the same time, it is entertainment. I like to see competitiveness across the board. I like when referees call a clean game in any sport. And really, in truth, I just want these brothers to understand something. It's just an opportunity that they've been blessed with athletically to go out there and perform. And hey, man, Kevin Durant, do what you do, baby. I've always been a fan of you, man. If you don't win no championship, they go talk long trash
Oh
though.
my goodness, man! If this can't be Cleveland next year, hey. So this is the other thing. So now that we got through that, because Kevin Durant, I mean, him going over there, he definitely made a super team. But it ain't
Right,
like
right.
they stacking that team. I mean, they David West signed. They got Zaza Pachulia, who is a big man, so and he can stretch the floor. And then Ray Allen supposedly is talking about coming back, and he talking about he want to sign with the Dubs.
Wow.
So, I mean, even though he ain't played in a couple years, you don't really need him for the whole season. You just in the playoffs, he can come in and shoot a couple threes for you. They just add to the 3-point madness.
Really?
Yeah, man, that was the report. I saw it on Sports Center. I mean, on ESPN News today. I was like, man, that's ridiculous. That would be utterly ridiculous, man.
See, that's what I'm saying. And so then I know like the salary caps have been adjusted, right? They'll be able to have more wiggle room to pay cats. Cats are more willing to take pay cuts. It's a lot of money out there. They've already been multi-millionaires years and years over. So it's not like it's really a money thing, so to speak. I mean, of course, you want to get paid your worth, but hey, man, if you can get in on a squad with a bunch of talented guys and everybody says, hey, man, we're going to take a pay cut so we can go on and get this, go to the show, then, that's what's going to happen.
I
And
got you. I got you. You been watching anything else with the free agency? I mean, because KD, of course, was the biggest move. But the other thing that I saw too was Dwayne Wade ain't signed with Miami. He's supposed to be meeting with the Cavs. I
oh,
forgot what date.
that's
I don't know if it's today or whenever he's supposed to be meeting with the Cavs. So
well. Now, will that seal the deal, though? I mean, that's a good move for the Cavs. And basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to do what I call the mystery mix. Remember those now laters with the mystery mix back in the
yeah,
day? It's like a mystery mix because still you got San Antonio over there now. They see these guys over and the Warriors building up. You got your man left Houston and went over to Atlanta. Your boy Dwight Howard. It's gonna be interesting to see. And of course, the biggest thing is how are they gonna be health wise if they don't stay healthy? Because I told people last season, hey man, when Cleveland played the Warriors, if they would have had Kyrie Irving or Kevin Love. I'm more leaning towards Kyrie Irving though. I think they would have won because think about the games. Every game that Warriors won, it was a struggle to win, even though they won it. And when the new season came around, I predicted Cleveland, San Antonio. San Antonio got old quick, but I predicted Cleveland all the way. I was right on that. I just didn't think they were going to play the Warriors. I thought the Warriors were going to get beat along the way, but they didn't. That's attributed to good coaching because, and also, like you said, Spurs got old and they got old fast, bro.
Man, they got old so fast. It was like a time machine. They look like Benjamin Buttons out that boy. I mean, they played that season. I mean, really, at the end of the day, they had a historic season themselves. I mean, they won, what, 69, 68, 60-something games like that?
They had a great season.
They wasn't too far off the Bulls' record themselves.
Nope.
And they came into the playoffs, and Duncan he looked like he was 40.
He just pewtered out,
man. What I mean? And they talking about he gonna retire. So I can't see him coming back up there. But if Cleveland get Wade, it'll definitely. It's all even without Wade. It's already gonna be Cleveland and Golden State again, unless you have some major injuries.
Right.
And I doubt if they're gonna have major injuries on either team because Golden State ain't gonna be shooting for no record this year. Even though with that team, if they go and start practicing now with that team, they probably could win damn near every game. They probably could go 74 and 8. So
that'd be crazy, man.
But I don't see them doing that. I think they're gonna relax. They're gonna try to cruise through the regular season, not play as much, and when they get to the playoffs, then they're gonna go into overdrive. Then they're gonna try to get to that finals. It's gonna be them and LeBron again. I agree with you. I think that if Kyrie was there last season, they would have won. But because he wasn't there, it gave Golden State that swag they needed, and they started feeling like they was unbeatable. And really this year they would have lost this championship. They would have lost that championship had not the tide been changed. And Draymond Green couldn't get that fifth game. He couldn't get that game 5. They would have lost that championship. That messed up everything. They kind of threw the tide off. And,
that was a momentum killer.
And then LeBron did what a superstar is supposed to do. He did what a lot of people that always knock him. He did what he was supposed to do. He took over games, and he became, he did what he was supposed to do. Now I can't. Now I'm not a LeBron fan, so
right.
I'm not a LeBron basketball fan because to me he played off his athleticism, which is great, but it's so many flaws in his game. He's just so damn big and strong that you can't really mess with him. I mean, and he is the greatest player in the game today. I was
just getting ready to ask you that.
Yeah, he's the greatest player today, no doubt. I see him go on the post and damn near travel every time he's in the post. But the thing is that what he playing against other players that go on the post and travel every damn time they get in the post too. So I mean, we just in a watered down, kind of like a watered down league from what I guess when we grew up with. But it's still great basketball. I love to see the athleticism, and I just love basketball. So that's my favorite.
Me too, man. Me too, man.
So
let me ask you this question before we move on to another topic, though.
Okay.
You got the first pick in the NBA, all active players right now. Who you picking?
Oh, I'm going with LeBron all day, even though I ain't necessarily a fan. Why wouldn't I go with LeBron? He's 6'8", 250 damn pounds of muscle. And he can go down the court like a 6'2" guard.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm picking him.
And you don't have to build a team around LeBron. You can just get players and fill in, and you damn near a NBA Finals team because he will make everybody around him better.
He makes your team a contender, and by the end of his career, I don't see him You know, I mean, come on, bro. He's killing the stats. He's first in every top chart stat at the end of that playoff run, and you know those finals.
Oh
He
yeah, man.
going.
By the end of his career, he'll be the number one. He'll be the number one stat getter in the thing, and he will definitely go down. This arguably as probably one of the top players to ever play. If he could get up to 6 championships, he'll pass Jordan. I still don't even have Jordan past Bill Russell on my list.
I don't have him past Kareem.
Yeah, I have him past Kareem. I have Jordan past Kareem, but I don't have him past Bill Russell. And that's just because Bill Russell was, I mean, I believe you put Bill Russell in any era and he would dominate. Bill Russell could score, and a lot of people don't know that because they always talk about his defense. But Bill Russell could score too if he wanted to. He didn't score just so Boston Celtics could use him for defense and they could win championships that way. But Bill Russell was a beast, man. And you're talking about 10, 11 championships in the NBA. He won on every level. I think he won, 2 or 3 years in NCAA, and he won 2 high school championships. I mean, you talking about a dude that won on that level. Ain't nobody, there's nobody that's like that. But then you got Jordan, and then you got after Jordan, man. For me, my top 5 is Russell, Jordan, Kareem, Magic, and trying to think of my last one. Oh, and Kobe.
Yeah, man.
Magic and Kobe.
Shoot.
Then after that, after that, I have to, even though, like I said, I'm gonna be fair because I'm not a LeBron fan like that, but I gotta give LeBron number 6. And if he win another championship, he'll most likely on the list. For my list, he'll pass Kobe up.
That's woo. It's just too much out there, man. You know what I mean? Because I look at adversity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you got a point guard, right? Who you picking? Most people are picking Magic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you got a shooting guard, most people are picking Kobe. You know what I mean? It's hard not to. How you going? You know what I mean? Then you got Jordan.
You got to pick Jordan. I mean, pick Jordan. You know what I mean?
You got. I mean, but I'm talking about these kids today. I mean, a lot of you got to remember. People, when you mentioned Bill Russell, okay, I talked to a guy about the eras of basketball, and you've seen it. Who do you think would have won 60s, 70s, 80s? You know what I mean? And you've seen that little deal right there.
Yeah.
But, you know, Bill Russell was the biggest thing out there. You know what I mean? You couldn't stop him anyway. So I don't know. You know, he played with a bunch of these little old guys, you know, non-athletic white boys.
Bill Russell was the only person that could damn near stop Wilt Chamberlain at the time. That's why I say he was the best.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Wilt Chamberlain, come on, man. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain, 100 points. Dude. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain had a season where he averaged 50 points a game.
Right. You know, that'd never happened in today's league.
No.
Too much talent.
Too
much talent. The game is too fast. There's too much going on.
I doubt that.
You know, I'm just gonna say this for the record before we bounce. My favorite player, I don't want to say of all time, but I'm gonna give it up to my man just because he was a little man, and I'm just gonna say Allen Iverson. Hey, that's my dog.
Yeah, Allen Iverson, man. I mean, my favorite point guard is Isaiah because I'm from Detroit.
Yeah. And, you can't hate Zeke. Zeke is for real. He had heart.
Zeke was the first big little man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Zeke could put up 40. He just was in a system where he didn't have to put up 40, but Zeke could put up 40 on you in a minute.
Right. But then an old school cat would say, "Well, what about Nate Tiny Archibald?" So this situation as far as who would you pick, who's the best, we can go all day about that. But it started with KD. We're gonna see what K does. You know, he does this year. Coming forward, Randy, and I'm hoping they win because if not, they're gonna talk about him.
Oh yeah, they gonna talk about him bad. But they talked about LeBron when they didn't win that first season, and and I'm not gonna lie. When LeBron moved over to Miami, I thought it was weak. Then I really thought it was weak. And as I got older, I understand the move. And I'm like, man, he had to feel like he had to go win a championship because he didn't feel like he could do it where he was at. And I understand why KD did it. So I can't hate on LeBron for doing what he had to do to win. And you definitely can't hate on him now because he went back to Cleveland and did what he said he was gonna do and won a championship there. So I mean,
Right.
man, at the end of the day, I'm happy that them brothers making millions of dollars and they taking care of their families and doing what they supposed to do with that. Because that's actually at the end of that's the main thing. They doing what they love to do, and they making money doing it. So
Yeah, and you don't hear no negative. Yeah, and think about it. They're class acts. You don't hear nothing negative about them in the media. You know what I'm
No,
saying? They
not
don't
besides
represent, you know, and then they represent brothers in the right way. You know, you got a lot of guys that get in this league, football, professional athletes, all, you know, and they just squander their opportunity with drugs, alcohol, club scene, spousal abuse, just all kind of stuff. And I don't want any of that to happen to none of my people out there. But when you're an athlete, I feel like you have a special type of responsibility to yourself first, and
Yeah,
then your family, and then to the people who are watching you. You're a role model where you want to be one or not. This is how
yeah,
it is.
no doubt. Hey, I just want I didn't really explain to the people out there that Lee had technical difficulties on his camera stuff. So that's why we just got a picture of Lee up. So
Yeah.
he'll be on here as soon as we get that stuff fixed up for him, and he'll be on more of the shows. And he'll
Yes,
be
sir,
able to see
yes.
it.
Thanks, man. That's
Hey,
my
look.
stunt double.
So look. So now we're gonna go into this Alton Sterling thing. This
Woo.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana thing, man. And I'm not gonna show the video because it's too disturbing for me to watch it at this point. I got a few things that we always discuss the quote unquote conspiracy theories and all this type of stuff. I'm gonna say something, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let you say what you got to say about it. I know you hadn't really. I know you was working all day. You really didn't get a chance to see the videos until late. But what you think about it?
Well, from what I hear, okay, it just seems like it's the same scenario where you have a black man in a situation where the police take the life of that man unnecessarily. Okay. It's been happening for as long as I have been alive and before. Okay. It's another type of a lynching in my way of thinking. You know, it's sad, man. There's just really no way to put it. And bro, oh my God, bro, I don't know what to say. Listen, when Rodney King, right?
Yeah,
You
you was in LA at that time, right?
Oh man, listen, bro. Let me tell you something. I'm from Pasadena. My family is from LA, Compton, South Central. His family, speaking of Rodney King, is from Altadena, right up the next town up. Okay, we knew who he was as people in the community. We knew his mother. Okay, and this brother, I don't care if he was a crackhead or anything, he didn't deserve to get beat like that. Okay, and then to come around, now this was just a beating. This is just a beating, not guilty. But now, in the last, 5 years, oh man, how many killings have taken place where it's obvious, okay, that it didn't constitute the life being taken? I'm not saying that the guys were not doing anything illegal or wrong, okay, but what makes you think that you could just take their life? Why? Because there's no value to the black man's life. This is how I see it.
Now, I agree with you. There's no value to the black man's life, but I think too. I mean, and this first off, I want to say this because this ain't is no way bashing police officers because just like it's
No.
bad, is just like it's a bad cops out there. For the most part, there's more situations where police officers interact with citizens and nothing happens.
Right.
Everything goes smooth and everybody's cool. So that happens. I want to say that first. Second off, I want to say that two people I know, I call them brothers. I don't talk to them. I don't talk to them all the time. But if we see each other today, it's just like we saw each other yesterday, even though we might not have talked. And I love them brothers. They good people. They take care of their family and everything. And really, I feel bad for them that they're police officers and they get lumped into that same thing with all the rest of the police officers. Because of the fact that what this is happening. With that all being said, we don't value our own lives, but at the same time, there has to be some type of feel like there's going to be a recompense if you come into my community and kill me.
Yeah,
and you have to feel that. And I'll liken it to a gang. If you grew up in LA, Bloods and Crips. A Blood can't walk in the Crip neighborhood and not get jumped on or killed. Back in the day, that's just how it was. I don't know exactly how it is now, but you just couldn't do that. And to me, you shouldn't be able to just walk into the neighborhood. I don't care who you are, police or whatever. You shouldn't be able to walk in the neighborhood and kill somebody and just kill them blatantly and no one does anything about it. And I ain't talking about going to the jail and going into the courts. I'm talking about somebody on the street like, no, we're not happy.
Well, I know for a fact that there are certain neighborhoods in certain periods of time where, you know what, they're shooting at the police. You see what I'm saying? They had cats posted. You get them on the roof. You might go to the over in the Black Peace Stone hood in the jungles and a lot of other hoods, and you'll see some of these guys are gonna be like, you know what, man, we not having all of that. But then once again, you're taking in oh man, bro, it's kind of like you're taking the law into your own hands because the law doesn't show any true justice when it comes down to the hearings when these situations happen. And that's why people are so upset. That's why people are so tired. But then you'll go and look at the killings of the last 100 people that are black, and guess who's killing them? Black people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of hypocritical. We're talking about Black Lives Matter, period, no matter what you are. But in respect of us being black men, black people having black families, black lives do matter, bro. But guess what? If you look at the statistics according to how we act as a community, black lives don't matter. You know what I'm saying? The community as black people, whether you're a female, male, old, young, there hasn't been, remember back in the day, I was like, nah, brother, you just can't do that. And it wasn't like you were going to.
There was a code back in the day. You had to live by a certain code back in the day. I think that code kind of changed with our generation because I always say we were the first. I know people say that about this generation, but I always say our generation was the first. We don't give a fuck generation. So,
right.
But there was a code back in the day that there was a time when it could be a bunch of fellas sitting there, and if they were cussing and acting a fool, if a woman came back with their kids, they would kind of calm down, like, hey man, chill out for a minute. They'll calm down, say, hey, this whoever, let her walk on by, and then they go back to bullshitting after that lady that walked by with her kids. But now it's like whatever. But I get what you're saying with the Black Lives, with black on black crime and stuff. But I try not to talk about black on black crime when a situation like this happened, because they always try to use that black on black crime situation like that's where y'all need to get y'all stuff together. But no, the police need to get their stuff together too. Yeah, we need to get our stuff together. We got a lot of stuff we need to get together. But you're a public servant. You're supposed to be out, you're not supposed to be an occupying force in the community. You're supposed to be actually helping the community. And I mean, I don't care if he had a gun in his pocket. First off, Louisiana is an open carry state. They saying he might have been on probation, so he shouldn't have had a gun, but whatever. That's in hindsight. them police officers did not know who he was. They stepped up on him because somebody had called in and said that there was somebody waving a gun. When they stepped up on him, he didn't have a gun on him. They didn't know he had a gun until they knocked him to the ground. And you hear the police say, "He got a gun, he got a gun." And then they start blasting. They already had him on the gun. There's no way he could have got to his gun. And even if he was trying to get in his pocket to get to his gun, you are handling the situation. You could have popped him in his leg and not killed him, or you could have tased him and he wouldn't have got to his gun. He automatically pulled out that lethal weapon to kill that man. And the only reason I say that is because I watched a video just yesterday before I even found out about this, where there was a white man in a like a, I don't know, I guess it was a field or it might have been a playground area, I don't know, where he was popping off shots, and the police was trying to talk to him before they tried to talk to him for a good 2 or 3 minutes before they even started blasting.
Wow.
And he popping off shots. So I'm lost as to how they got this dude on the ground. If you're that scared, you probably don't need to be a police officer.
Right. Yeah. It's terrible, man. And listen, I had a list that was sent to me in the last, couple of years. We've had Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Katherine Johnston, Sean Bell, Eric Garner, Rekia Boyd, Amadou Diallo, I hope I'm saying it right, Mike Brown, Kamani Gray, Kenneth Chamberlain, Travaris McGill, Tamar Rice, Aliana Stanley Jones, and Freddie Grave. Okay, now, all of those people lost their lives. Okay? No conviction of any kind. Not even involuntary manslaughter. Okay? But you got these kids out here selling weed, get 5 to 20, no life got taken. You know what I'm saying? Petty theft. And it's not to say that what they're doing is right and there shouldn't be any penalty, but you have a life that's been lost time and time again, and these guys get off. And then you have these guys out here doing these misdemeanor or even felony crimes that are not life-threatening, and they're getting the book thrown at them. Crazy.
Now, before you got on here, you had pointed out to me, you was like, the white guy, he killed 9 people in the church.
Oh, yeah.
And he's still alive.
He's still alive.
He's still alive. Did nobody go in there and kill him? And they never, I don't know if he had a criminal background or whatever, but they always try to make it like he was just, he was lost and he's crazy. But soon as something happened to a black person, they'll find any way to bring up a criminal background. It's like when the little boy just fell into the gorilla pit. They automatically brought up the father's background. The father wasn't even there.
Wow.
So you bring up the background like that got something to do with this kid going into the gorilla pit. Don't get me wrong, I still don't see how that happened, but everybody that was there said it just happened just like that. Like she was taking care of her kids, she was trying to do what she had to do, and she just lost track of that one kid. And I can't understand that because I'd have been in the house before and be like, where the kid at? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So that can happen, but the fact that they would bring up people's criminal past after they just got shot, it's almost like and everybody at first everybody's like, well, this is a clear cut one. We got the video, we can see that they just killed him. But I watched CNN today and I saw them break that whole thing down to make you question whether or not he should have been killed. Like, well, we can't see his other arm. We don't know if he was reaching for his gun. He had a criminal past. He should have never had a gun anyway because he was an They broke that whole thing down within 5 minutes, and I can guarantee you that by them doing that, they even had me as I was watching it like, yeah, they gonna get off because they already have told you what the grand jury, what they gonna say to the grand jury when they go to that. The grand jury's gonna let them off because they're gonna say, well, they were doing their job as police officers. And again, it goes back to what I said, like how as a family member of that man, you know, these police officers most likely are going to get GoFundMe pages put up where they're going to get millions of dollars donated to them. They're going to still have their jobs, or they're going to be able to be reassigned to another police force and have a job there. And this family don't have this 37-year-old man anymore.
Right.
And for me, I'm like, you know, if it's almost like Sam Jackson in The Time to Kill. It's like it's like,
remember that was a good movie. It was a great book, you know, but there's no justification for that.
Feel like that, like look, if y'all can't do it, then I will. And,
right.
And I know it's somebody in that family that feels like, because I remember in Ferguson, when the thing happened in Ferguson, that you know, they tried to get that father on charges saying he incited a riot, because after acquittal came down, they wasn't for that bullshit. They was like, burn this shit down. And
and I'm gonna tell you from experience, because I was in the Rodney King riot. Yes, I was. Okay, does nothing for you really.
No,
it gives you a temporary release of that frustration, but you tearing your own community up.
Tearing your own community down, yeah.
Okay, and it does not. What it does, it almost kind of I don't want to say validates their thought, but they're gonna say, look at them, they're out there acting all crazy and being animals and destructive, you know. But then, in the same way, after a major, you know, I don't want to say.
You can say the Cavs won and they told Cleveland.
Yes, there you go. That's a perfect example. I was gonna go more college though. I was gonna go.
No, we gonna go grown ass people. Because they won and they tore Cleveland up, and every news outlet said, didn't no one say anything about a riot. Everybody was like, oh, the celebration went a little bit too wild. You know, everybody got a little too rambunctious. They're very happy that we won. And ain't nobody died. Y'all won a championship. Right. So I don't, you know, again, I just can't.
It's a real thin line, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, because you got they won a championship. You should be happy. You shouldn't be tearing up stuff. Now, I get what you're saying. You do tear up your own community. But I ain't gonna say the person that said this to me. But she was like, "Hey, look, they need to stop tearing up their own communities and go tear up the other people's communities. Then maybe something to get done about this situation." See, you can't go. That's why.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
Always talk about
that'll be. Hey, Randizzle. That will be the shortest riot ever in the history of niggerdom. That riot gonna last.
It would be over in a half hour.
That riot will be over as fast as Usain Bolt can run the 220. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna happen. And in the back of these folks' mind, they know that. That's why they do it. You know what I'm saying? You know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because what was the saying? The price of freedom is death. These Negroes don't want to die. They'll die for dumb shit, but they don't want to do it for a cause. You see what I'm saying?
And that it goes back. I said it last week, and I posted it on Facebook. Black people want freedom, but they're not willing to give up white people's toys.
Ooh.
David Banner said that on a show I was watching.
It's the truth, bro. It's the truth. And you know,
is that we want freedom, but we're not willing to die for it. And we're not willing to be a Malcolm X. We're not willing to be a Martin Luther King. We're not even, and Marcus Garvey didn't necessarily get killed, but we're not even willing to take the chances he took. We're not willing to take the chances Farrakhan takes. We're not willing to take the chances none of these guys take. But we'll discuss and talk about how they were wrong and is better ways to do it. But there can't be any better way to do it. And the only reason I say that is because if there was better ways to do it, everybody else that's trying to do it in a quote unquote better way, they're still around. The people that was doing it in a way that was gonna work, they're dead.
Damn right.
And
And
so
that's what people don't want. They don't want that. You know what I'm
they
saying?
don't want to be honest with that. They don't want to be honest. They never want to be honest with what Martin Luther King truly was after he, got a chance to get out of the South and go up north. And he realized, nah, I messed up.
Right.
And he got a little bit more radical, and he started saying, you know what, we just can't be black. Talking about black people being poor, we got to talk about the poor white people that's being disenfranchised too, because he realized that if all of us join up together, those people that's in power really can't beat that. That's why they killed him. Besides the fact, also they were talking about Vietnam War. But I'm gonna say this, man. So you notice, I thought about this today. Every time Barack Obama been in office for 8 years now, right? So,
oh yeah.
After he got in office, there was this sense of empowerment that black people felt like we could do it all. We was gonna change. The world was gonna change now, right?
Right.
Okay. And you notice right after that, that's when all these. Not that people weren't getting killed by the police before this. I mean, we know that because there's comedians that joked about it in the 70s. I was just talking to Jesse today. He was talking about he was watching DC Cab, and Gary Busey said something to one of the other characters about, you did that and you wasn't scared the police was going to kill you and say you was on PCP. So I
remember that.
That's 83.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor was making jokes about the police in the 70s, and Red Fox was making jokes about the police in the 60s. So we already know this has been going on forever. But it's funny to me that after Obama got in, how it got real on TV. Like they would put it on TV so much, it's like they ingrained it in your head that these police officers are killing black people. And then the latest thing that just happened was Jesse Williams got up and said this speech. And every black person on earth is talking about this speech. Most people feel empowered by this speech. And just about a week or a week and a half later, you got the police come out and kill somebody else. It almost makes me feel like they are out on a mission, like, y'all feel empowered, so let me put you back in your place.
Ooh.
And the way I put you back in your place is to kill one of yours, and we ain't going to jail. And again, the case ain't, it just happened, so we don't know what's gonna happen. We got to go through the whole thing. But I'm telling you, I'm so leaning towards that. It ain't about not having faith and all that bull crap. It's all about that. I've seen what has happened, and I see how they trying to narrate the story on CNN and on MSNBC and on Fox. And we already know what Fox gonna do. They gonna narrate it that he was a thug and all that. But when CNN and MSNBC start talking about his criminal past, then we already know where they going with this. They already leading towards, well, he probably shouldn't have had that gun, and they were in the right. So it's almost like, yeah, Jesse Williams got up there and said something that made y'all feel good. But get back in your place, nigga.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned earlier, it's like modern day lynchings.
Yeah, it is, man. It is, man. It's a scary thing raising. I got 2 boys with 1 on the way, so it's a scary thing raising 3 boys out here and there. And you got to tell them, hey, don't act so free.
Yeah,
go out. Well, you almost got to tell them to learn how to say yes, sir, boss, no, sir, boss, so they can live to fight another day.
Yeah. Sometimes you do got to play the role. You got to know the hand that you're dealt, but at the same time, you're not supposed to lay down. You're supposed to know your rights, which, we could talk about a lot of things. Like another topic could be, racism, even in religion, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just think about it.
I mean, yeah, I saw the Hidden, I don't know if you saw Hidden Colors 4 yet, but they broke that down, the racism and religion that, I hear a lot of my black friends, they'll say something like, well, ain't no such thing as a black church. The church is the church. All the churches under Jesus Christ. But I can't tell, because when you go into a church that's in a black area, ain't no white people. When you go into a church in the white area, it may be the sprinkle of black people in it that live in that area. But besides that, they're not really there. and there is a racism in religion, and we just live in a racist society. We live in a society that's built on everyone wanting to be a part of their race. And I think me and you have discussed this before about how you know we want it to be where white and black people get along, and we all just do what we're supposed to do, and it don't really we all be the human race. But
Right.
because the powers that be have set it up this way, we gotta learn how to fend for ourselves.
And I like the way you put that because just in general, as a human race as a whole, we talk about being civilized. We talk about having a higher conscious of thinking. Well, really, in truth, across the board, white, black, Mexican, any name race you want to say, we have a lot more evolving to do. There's a lot of consciousness that needs to be uplifted because at the end of it all, we're spiritual beings. We're not physical. We are encased in a physical body, but when it's all said and done, we are comprised of the same elements. Well, depending on who you ask.
Oh man, guess who
Okay.
just joined us up? Who just joined in with us?
Who's that?
Oh, y'all still going on?
Big Jesse.
Hey, what's up, brother Jay? How you doing, sir?
Man, what's good? What's good? I said, let me give it a try to see if y'all still in here.
Yeah, we still in
Yeah,
here.
we was. Yeah, we was about to wrap it up, man.
We're sitting up talking about Alton Sterling, man. Lee, he having some technical difficulties, so we just got his picture up. We was talking about Alton Sterling, man. What you got to say about it?
Man, I'm just like, it's um, it's the same story, different day. I'm just
Yeah.
where I'm at right now. I want to see. I'm just perturbed where we don't see white America hasn't said anything. These politicians haven't said anything. It's like they more concerned about Hillary's emails than the way these cops treat. I mean, the injustices going on in our society.
Yeah.
That's just tripping me out right now.
Well, that's the way. To me, that's the way that the media is keeping that story, because they like I was saying earlier, they're framing the story of what Alton Sterling was. I don't know if I said Alden
Yeah.
Smith before because I might have been thinking about football. But Alden Sterling, they framed the story of Alden Sterling and basically making him out to be a criminal. And he may have been a criminal, but in this case, he shouldn't have died.
No.
And it's like let's keep the political part on emails and talk about that, because we don't want them talking about it. They don't want them really talking about that. They want them to talk about stuff that really don't mean shit at the end of the day.
Right.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
man, it's like they sitting there. It's the same thing you hear. First you hear I saw a Facebook post about this. First you get suspension, then they pull out the dude's criminal record, and then they go a trial, and then they get off, and then we got the same story starts back over again.
Mm-hmm.
So
It kind of the police damn near functioning like the Catholic Church right now. You just get reassigned.
Yeah.
right. I'm like,
So
And
look,
who
y'all.
are these?
earlier.
And who are these scary ass police officers where they feel they just gotta kill you? Oh, I was scared for my life. No, you weren't even threatened. You have all the authority. You are the police officer. For the most part, no average citizen, white, black, Mexican, criminal or not, is not gonna go up against the police.
Nah, you're right.
You
No,
know.
no. Remember, Jesse, we were talking about that earlier. I was like, us black people, people always talk about we angry. I'm like, shit, we ain't angry as they try to make us out to be.
Nope. Nope.
hmm
Because if we was that angry, it'd be a lot more killing going on than what's
Yeah, it
going
would.
on. And it
Yeah, it
wouldn't be
would.
killing ourselves. It would be actually killing folks that do shit to us.
That's right. That's right. But they don't want that. They don't want that. And we don't want that. To be
No,
honest with you,
I
No,
don't kill nobody. But I don't want you trying to do nothing to me either.
but you can see how it can get to that point. You know what I mean? Like, people will get fed up as a community, and all of a sudden you got this unspoken thing where now, you are all out on site when it comes down to, protecting or you know, not so much being a rebel, but hey, we're not standing for this. You know what I mean? So the only thing that I feel at this point, right, and I say this all the time, man. I say this all the time. Um, if you are a black person, okay, all right, black man, black male, no matter if you're educated, thug to the president on down to the lowliest of lows, you still a nigga.
Mm.
You
I'll
are
take it one,
still
but I'll take it
right.
one step further. I was just telling Randy about, that movie Free State of Jones.
Yeah.
Me and my wife saw it, right? And
What you
so
think?
I like the movie. Um, it's not what you think it's gonna be about. Like you think it's like about this white guy who going to rescue slaves. No, so he was this movie about the dude. He was in the Confederate Army, and dude said, "Why? I mean, he seen too many people dying on the battlefield." He was like, "We fighting. What we fighting for? Why are we killing people for slaves? I mean, people who own slaves. I don't own no slaves." And so he rejected it and went back and saw when he went back to his hometown, he saw the army was taking the government was taking all the poor people food and all their stuff, and so so they was like, no, we gonna take up arms against them, and if they come try to take your stuff, we gonna fight them. And so they had a warrant out for his arrest, and he went into the woods, into the swamp, and and he met these these runaway slaves, and so they all took up arms and started their own little community. And then more Confederate soldiers who ran away joined in, and all these guys living in the swamp. And so they was going against like the army. The Confederacy army. But it was
Right.
one part that was deep, where so again, they still white folks back in the 18th, 1900s, 18th century, whatever. And so even though they all living together, they still. They took these pigs and they had this big old pig roast. And so this black dude goes to get a piece of the ham, and my man said, "This is white man ham. This ain't no nigga ham." And so he was like, "Use one." And so dude looked at him. He was like, "Use one." And so Matthew McConaughey looked at me and said, "You's a nigga too, just like he is." He was like, "We all niggas." He was like, "Cause to them, they don't give nothing about us. We all in the same boat." And and that's what I know. We talk we do want to see the black community, but what they really scared of is to see that 1%, that lower class, coming and rising against them. When
Yeah.
they start realizing that they ain't no different than us, because that's all they look at. They look at that hierarchy that, we still one step above a nigga.
Right.
You got black folks who think they still one step above a nigga, but they still niggas.
Yeah.
Hey, I read
You
a
know.
book. I read a book of man, I think I told you about this book, Jesse. I just can't remember the name of it. And in the book, it basically broke down how the elites separated. When the Polish came over, the Scottish came over, and the Irish came over, they treated them. Basically that's what Gangs of New York is about. About how all these different people came over and they were fighting each other. And then they would the book I read was talking about how they decided, okay, we're gonna all be white. How the rich white folks decided we're gonna all let everybody be white so that we can dominate, but we're gonna have classes of white. And
Right.
in this way, we're gonna make even the lowest class of white think they better than all the black people. And we can keep them all separated, and that way we can just control everything. I can't remember the name of the book, but that's basically what the book was saying. How they separated. It broke down how they separated everybody and how they made these people that were called Scottish. Because I remember in the book it talks about how the Polish lady was like, we fought all these years to be called Polish, and when I come over here, you call me white.
Right,
Yeah, right.
right.
And so, and really, that's what it is, man. not that, again, I'm all about us as black people coming together doing what we need to do, but anybody that's really into black consciousness or anything like that, for a fact, for a fact that most black people are about peace. We don't want to go out and kill nobody. We don't want to do all that. The ones that ain't about peace is because they have lost all hope, and
Right.
and they so stuck on trying to get that money and trying to get the new Jordans and dumb shit that they lost their mind. But most black people are not about dominating and stuff like that. We just really want to have a fair ground and everything like that. But my thing is, we gotta figure out a way to not that we gotta figure out, because the way been given to us. Nothing needs to really be figured out. If we go back and follow Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King and follow everything that they said, we could be out of this situation within the next 10, 20 years. But the thing is, we're not doing that. But because Marcus Garvey basically said, love your black self, build your own black businesses, and build your own nation. Malcolm X basically said, do it by any means necessary. And Martin Luther King told you how to invest into your black banks and invest into your black insurance companies, and then love your black self too. And if you do all that, you'll be okay. But we're just not doing that, and that's why we're having so much problems, because we too busy investing in everything else that has nothing. Again, I hate to say this because I know a lot of people we all Americans, but anytime you still got to vote for me to vote, anytime you still got to go and vote for me to have rights to vote, I'm not American.
Yeah, well, a lot of people still don't know that, Randy. A lot of people don't know that our vote doesn't count until our vote is voted on, like you say, because at the time when the Constitution was amended, we as black folks were what? We were slaves. We were not even considered. What was it? We were not even considered a full man. What was it, Jesse?
Every 3 blacks make a person, wasn't it? Like 3
That's right.
3/5
3/5 of a man. Okay, so that right there lets you know that we weren't considered when they were amending the Constitution. For one, we were slaves. We had no count. We had no right. We had no pull. We had no say-so. And remember when we were just talking about this, Randy, when George W. on the recount, and Maxine Waters, I believe it was Maxine Waters, got up to say something, and she was speaking in front of the representatives of, was it the House?
It was Dan Quayle.
It was the House more than likely, it was her.
Okay, and they laughed her.
I'm sorry, it was Al Gore. I'm sorry, I said Dan Quayle. It was Al Gore.
Right, and they laughed her out of there, man. They, because they knew, like, man, you sitting up here talking all this trash, but until we vote on your vote, you can say whatever the heck you want to say. It ain't gonna make a bit of a difference.
Yeah, because he said, I think she said something about we need, because, and it was Al Gore. It was funny to me because it was Al Gore up there, and she said, well, we voted on you to win, and Al Gore said, well, it doesn't show that, and everybody started laughing. I wish I could find that video, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find that, man. Yeah, we're gonna have to find that.
I was watching that video, man. It was like, yeah, we don't count. so in order for us to count, we gotta start building our own infrastructures and stuff, man. Hey, Jesse, you got anything else you want to say, man? I'm about to shut it down.
Man, ain't much to say, dude. I'm saying I miss it. You see your boy D Wade, son, going to Chicago?
Oh, he going back home.
Yeah, he about to pull a LeBron. I'm coming home.
They not gonna win no championships now.
They really ain't. But
I mean, what he gonna play? Point guard? I'm lost. What he gonna play? What they gonna move? They gonna move Jimmy Butler to small forward?
I guess. I know this nigga better get up on my bumper, man.
Hey, man, calm down.
Oh. Dang, my bad. Sometimes the nigga in me. He comes out in me.
Hey, I told you, you gotta censor yourself.
Hey, it's all good. We'll iron out all the kinks, man. Speak what you need to speak, man.
Hey, look here, man. I appreciate y'all. This is the second week we on. Like I said, every week we gonna try to get better, man. Um,
Yeah, this one good.
and I'm gonna try to get my homegirl Tracy on here next week. We had some technical difficulties with her too, so she couldn't get
Right.
on. But she wanted to speak about something, and I'm gonna let her get on, and that's probably gonna be what the whole show gonna be about when we do her. I mean, that's something that's major happened with this Alden Sterling case. I'm quite sure we're not gonna get no major details for a minute now. I mean, we're not gonna really get nothing major out of this for a couple of weeks. Um, right now, them cops on leave, on leave with pay. It ain't even a suspension, really. They on leave with pay because that's what they do to police officers when they shoot somebody.
Wow.
They just go, they have to go and go through all their little stuff. Even if they shoot somebody the right way, they still have to do that. So, when people talk about, oh, they don't leave because that's what they do anyway.
Man, that's just crazy. Like I said, man, one thing I do want to say, I think we do have to start. I think this is where they get us every time. So when Trayvon Martin get murdered, we look for justice for Trayvon. When Tamir Rice got murdered, you want justice for Tamir Rice. When Eric Gardner, and it's always, we keep making these about these single individuals, and so they think they can pacify us or don't even care to pacify us with just the simplest thing. But we have to start making these things bigger than just these people and make this, a fight against police brutality. Police my neighborhood rights. Let's get, with the Trayvon, fight against these stupid armed neighborhood watch. You know what I'm saying? It has to be a bigger cause. I think that's when I look back at. Remember when the story of Emmett Till, when Emmett Till
Yeah.
got murdered.
Yeah.
The reason why his mother he had an open casket picture and put it in Jet magazine because she wanted her son's death to be bigger than just her son's death. And that's why, like with these, we have to make them bigger than just these people's deaths, but make it more that we have to go back out and combat these systems that are causing these things to happen.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know. That's all I have to say on that.
I
On my
got you,
forward
man.
something
Hey,
else.
you got something to leave us with?
Man, listen, bro, this is one thing that I say, and I say it to everybody who has a conscious mind, and that we're more alike than we are different across the board, okay? And things aren't going to change overnight, but one of the things that it is that we have a problem with in just the overall raising of today's youth is what type of information are they getting and what age are they getting it at? You see, because you have their sponges, you have to fashion their minds young. You just don't become hateful just because, and you just don't become intelligent just because, and you don't become compassionate just because. That comes from the rearing of a child through the community, not just through the family, through the community that compromises us as an actual nation. Okay? And so when we realize that our similarities are the foundation of mobile upwardability, you see what I'm saying? Then look at what I said, mobile upwardability. Can we say that again?
3 times.
Upward mobility, brother. Okay, it starts with that, because if you bring in religion, you're done. Okay, because religion separates. It just does. You can be a Christian and you have all the denominations within the Christian faith, and there goes the division, let alone a non-Christian, Muslim, Catholic, Buddhist. You see what I'm saying? Those are all divisions, okay? Although, if you separate the religions, or if you remove the religions, then as a people, then you realize as a household, the man wants to provide for his wife. The wife wants to be there for his man as a support system. They want to raise their family. They want to have the best that they can have with the means that they can provide and live their life without any violence, without any, I don't know. I just think that's where we need to start. We're more alike than we are different, man.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. I agree with you. We are more alike than we are different. Um, and in that sense, though, as we are more alike than we are different, we definitely, in the words of Malcolm X, have to learn how to until we learn how to love ourselves and be respectable to ourselves, then we can't be respectable to anybody else.
Right.
And that's the main thing. Learn how to be respectful to ourselves and get that going. Um, hey, I thank y'all for coming on. We're gonna do this
Right
again
on.
this week. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get my homegirl on here next week so she can talk about what it is she wants to talk about. In a couple weeks from here, I don't know if you guys know about a city up in Minnesota. It is called Duluth, Minnesota. I know a young lady in Duluth, Minnesota that's going through some different issues, and I'm gonna have her come on here and talk about it because I think a lot of times, like Jesse, you was talking about earlier, we don't care about nothing until it hits home.
Yeah.
But
True.
with that, I really think that shoot, most of us don't even know. I didn't know it was in Duluth, Minnesota until I met her.
I
Um,
did not know black people lived in Duluth.
yeah, and I didn't know
I knew
black
where it
people
was
lived
at, but
in
I just ain't know
Minnesota
no.
besides Prince, Curry Bucket, and
Yeah.
and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. so so you know we gotta we gotta get some people on here from other places so we can we can hear their stories too, hear what's going on there, and I think she'll really talk to us about something that will and give us some information. I didn't shout out any businesses today, so I forgot to do that. But hey, Jesse, talk about your boy business real quick.
Oh, um, give me 1 second. So, my boy Mo got a T-shirt line called Mad Nick Creations. You can check him on Instagram. He on Facebook. He got tees, just tees all day. Whatever you want. If you got your own saying he got his teacher line, mentor line, husband wife line. Just anything you need. Just always he can do it for you. He
Okay.
even takes suggestions.
Right on.
Okay, cool. That's the one we're gonna do today. I can't think of nothing else right now. I do know about a small company in Detroit. They do boots. They call boots to the ground, and they give their money back, and they give some of that money back to the community once they start doing that. So you guys can, I think it's boots to the ground. I'm gonna have more information about that the next time I get on. Um, and and that's in Detroit, y'all. But we get y'all get doing this all over the world, so that'll be
Right.
good. Um, and hey, thank you for joining us. If you're watching this right now, if you're not watching it and you watch it later, thank you for joining us. Say something in the comment area if you agree, if you disagree. I don't care if you're racist and you want to say that you hate us because we out here doing this. You can do that too, and I'll answer back for you.
That's right. We like
And
them too.
yeah, we whatever you want to say, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I want you to say whatever it is. You can call me a nigga or whatever.
That's right.
You really just being a punk over the behind the computer screen anyway. So hey y'all, thank y'all again. We're gonna end
Yes,
this
sir.
off today. What's the what? In the words of Michael Graham, I still want my 40 acres and a mule.
Indeed.